welcome to my channel. My name is Sharon, and this is a channel that is dedicated to all things related to narcissism. I've been married to a covert narcissist for almost 20 years. I'm separated from him now, and what I do with this channel is I use my real-life experiences to get information out there to people about what narcissism really is, what it looks like, what it does to you, and what it does to your family. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about narcissists as predators. But before I get into the video, I'd like to comment on something that I said in a video last week. So at the end of one of my videos last week, I asked a question. I asked if you think on the last day when I'm at the courthouse, when I'm getting my divorce, if you think I should let my ex have it. So everything's done. I don't have to worry about him anymore. I can walk out of the court a free woman. But before I do that, I had this fantasy that I was going to go up to him and just go off on him and tell him exactly how I feel, because I wanted to watch him crumble in front of me. I wanted to see pain across his face. I wanted to know that he felt bad for hurting me and hurting the kids. I wanted to see regret on his face. What I wanted you guys to say was, yes, let him have it, kick him in the nuts, give it to him. That's what I wanted. But so many of you are so kind and amazing, and you commented and sent me emails and said, don't do it. Don't do it. If you do that, you're giving him supply. He's going to feel great about himself. You're going to make him feel good. You're going to feel horrible, because for a narcissist, all they want is supply. And good supply or bad supply, it doesn't matter. That he would know that he affected me, and that would give him a lot of supply. So grateful for everybody who told me definitely don't do that. And I'm going to follow your advice. I'm not going to do it. The day that I get divorced, I'm going to go into the courtroom, I'm going to get my divorce, and my revenge is going to be not having to be with him anymore. I'm not going to say anything to him. I'm just going to leave. I'm going to live my life. I'm going to have a new relationship. I'm going to be raising my kids. I'm going to live free of a narcissist, and that really is the best possible situation for me. I also believe that one day he will face justice by God. Whether or not God lets me see that, I have no idea. I hope so, but I don't know. But the reality is I'm going to be able to live without him and be free of a narcissist, and that really is the best possible situation. So I wanted to say thank you so much. So getting into today's video, I'm going to be talking about how narcissists are predators. Now, if we talk about a predator in the animal kingdom, it's an animal that lives by killing and eating other animals. It's an animal that preys on other animals. A person who is a predator is somebody who looks for other people to use, control, or harm in some way. Narcissists don't view people as being human. There is no such thing as humanity to a narcissist. Narcissists look at people as objects to exploit for their own gain. Narcissists feed off their victims for supply. Narcissists are always addicts. Now, very possibly they could be a drug or alcohol addict, or who knows, any type of addict, gambling addict, shopping addict. But for the purposes of today's video, when I say that they're an addict, what I mean is that they're addicted to feeling special. And like any addiction, they will lie, cheat, and steal to get their high. And of course, as always, like any addiction, the addiction comes first. If I'm talking about drugs or alcohol or some other addiction, the thing that is the addiction isn't human, it's a substance. The object of desire is not a person. But when it comes to a narcissist as a predator, the target is a human. It's a real victim. It's not an object. And that can be very dangerous if you are that person. A narcissist doesn't see anybody as a person to begin with. There's no such thing as humanity. There's no respect for life. And it's not just your life. It's your child's life. It's your pet's life. It's anybody's life. A narcissist doesn't have morality. They really don't care. It's difficult for somebody who does care to really comprehend that. But just understand, the narcissist doesn't care. So there's nothing there that stops them from being as cruel and sadistic as possible. When you're in a relationship with a narcissist, you don't know this, especially at the beginning. You're in direct competition with them. So think about yourself. If you say you were an athlete and say you were like a downhill skier, right? Like you would need the other skiers to lose for you to be the top skier. A narcissist looks at you that way. If you're in a marriage with a narcissist, They need to be the top person. They need to win. So you must lose. And a narcissist will do anything to have you lose. It doesn't matter if they cheat. It just doesn't matter. They will do anything. So one of the ways that the narcissist will have you go down is by enacting a smear campaign. A narcissist is a predator. They're preying on you. And the way they do this is by having you fall. So what they're going to do is, you don't know this, of course, but you're in a relationship with somebody. This person is talking badly about you at work, with their family, with their friends. They're setting people up against you. You're not doing that. You're not at work saying negative things about your spouse. You're not telling your family things. You're not telling your friends things. So right away, they have all the support. Half the people you know don't like you. You have no idea, because they're going to be nice to your face. But then when things go wrong, if you said something to them about the narcissist, they're going to think to themselves, oh yeah, he was telling me about this, or she was telling me about this. Yeah, wow, that's really true. This is all intentional. Narcissists are always playing games. They get supply by cutting you down, and they're ruthless. It makes them feel good. It's important to understand you are the enemy. So smear campaigns is one way that they do this. A narcissist will outright lie about you. They don't care. Several times at the end of my relationship, the last 2 years, I had to call the police to get him out of the house. He was acting crazy. He was threatening us. He was throwing things around. At one point, he was beating himself up. He was literally banging his head over and over on the wall. He's doing this right in front of the kids. So he's doing this in front of witnesses. So it wasn't a situation where it was my word against his word. He's doing it right in front of his own kids. He's scaring his kids. I'm on the phone talking to 911, and he's screaming in the background that at that time I was abusing him. My ex is more than double my size. It would not be possible for me to be talking on the phone. So I'm holding the phone with one hand and lifting him with the other hand and banging him against the wall. It's just not possible. He didn't see any of that. He just was going with this. A narcissist will do this. When they want to hurt you, reality doesn't come into it. There is no reality for a narcissist. They're delusional to begin with. So if they have their mind made up that this is what they're going to do, nothing changes their mind. So he's believing, even though, like I said, he's doing it in front of the kids, and I would have had to have been beating him up with one arm. I'm on the phone with one hand, talking matter-of-factly, calmly, right? That's so I wasn't out of breath, which, I mean, imagine, I'm banging some 250-pound man against the wall. Like, it's just not possible. He stopped once he heard the sirens coming down the street. And then he proceeded, and I heard him do this, to tell them that I was doing this. I had hurt him. He was just innocently doing nothing. And I just went crazy, and I was banging his head against the wall. He was trying to enact a smear campaign against me. He wanted to turn the police against me. He really thought, apparently, that he had a leg to stand on with this. When they kicked him out of the house, when they told him he had to leave, he started doing something else. He started telling them that, oh my goodness, well, you know what she's doing now? She won't let me have my medication. She's keeping my medication from me, and she's stealing my mail. He went on and on. He would not give up. It was one thing after another. He was so desperate to try to get the police to believe him that he went on. And then it even continued the next day. He told me that he got a copy of the police report, and he was so livid. He was accusing me at this point, after I had the police report. And the police report, I read it too. It was exactly accurate what happened. And he's telling me, how dare you? You are such a little slut. You're acting like you are, you're flirting with these police officers. That's what happened. That was what happened. That's why they believed you, because you were acting like, oh, innocent, and like you hadn't done anything. And you were just using your feminine wiles. I mean, this is what he's saying to me, that this is what I'm doing, that the police are so stupid and so ignorant. And in the middle of this extremely stressful situation, I'm coming on to police officers. This is what he's thinking. This is what he convinces himself. I think he probably believes it to this day. Now, after this had happened, I was going to get a restraining order, and he promised that he wasn't going to come to the house. He swore, I'm not going to come to the house. You don't need to get the restraining order. You don't have to do that at all. So I didn't get the restraining order. Then, a couple months later, COVID hit. And what he started doing was he would come over to the house. Now, I didn't know he was coming over to the house. He would just text me randomly and say something like, oh, by the way, I left you guys some stuff behind the garage. So he would leave like toilet paper or paper towels. So it looked like he was being so kind, because he knew if I called the police and said, look, my ex is coming over to the house. He's not supposed to be here. He's promised he wasn't going to come here. And then what's he doing? Well, he's delivering toilet paper and paper towels. I mean, it would have looked ridiculous. He knew this. So this was his way of intimidating me. This is him partly playing a game. He wants me to be stuck. He wants me not to be able to do anything. So he promised he wasn't going to come over to the house. This is a way that he could come over to the house, because I think he's right. If I had called the police and said that, what was he going to say? Oh, yeah, my ex is bringing groceries over to the house. It's ridiculous. This is all intentional. It's so crucial to understand how a narcissist works. This is the type of thing that they will do. Another way that they will abuse you, that a narcissist will try to bring you down, is by gaslighting you. This is how they prey on you. They manipulate you. They'll have you question your own sanity. It's emotional abuse is really what's going on when somebody's gaslighting you. They're trying to lure you into a trap. Your reality is interrupted. One of the ways that they do this is with the silent treatment. They will abuse you. They'll do something wrong and then they'll stop talking to you. And what you do, you're so distressed by this that you beg the person to talk to you. You will ask them to forgive you when they have done something wrong. So they're able to abuse you. They're able to cut you down. You aren't even a person anymore. You are somebody who is so desperate to have this person talk to you because your reality has been snatched away from you. When you're with a narcissist for especially a long period of time, these type of things will happen over and over. It can really cause you to lose a grasp on sanity. This person is maliciously attacking you at every turn. They know exactly what they're doing. They will abuse you. You're asking for forgiveness for their abuse. I mean, this is what is happening. It's so crazy. A narcissist always understands what they are doing. It's so crucial to understand that. Another thing is they're going to try to convince you that something is wrong with you. It's not them, it's you. In my relationship, my ex would build himself up by bringing me down. There was always a competition. I started going to church with my kids a couple of years ago, and he wasn't going to church. Then he started coming to the church, and immediately upon coming to the church, he wanted to have it so that he was more popular than me. We couldn't just go to church as a couple and have us be a couple where people knew both of us. One of us was going to be the better person, and he was sure as heck that it was going to be him and not me. So we would go into the church. I would start introducing him to people, and right away he started making his moves. He started saying to me, oh, did you notice? Like, my ex is pretty tall. He's a lot taller than I am. So we'd be coming into church, and he would kind of be above the crowd because he was taller. And so there were a few times that the pastor noticed him and would call out to him and say, hey, so-and-so, how's it going? And he would immediately turn to me and say, oh, did you see that? I guess I'm the popular one here. Did you notice that? He didn't say hi to you, just to me. This is all intentional. They want you to feel bad. Now, at this time when this happened, I knew what was going on, but I didn't always. Earlier in the relationship, he would do this too, and I wasn't aware of what he was doing. And then it makes you feel like you're less than a person. This was a problem in our relationship because I started to feel like people didn't like me. I've said this in other videos. This was a way that my ex really got to me. He would have it seem that nobody liked me, everybody liked him. So I was like nothing. And he was probably doing smear campaigns at work with his family. God knows what. It's all intentional. It isn't until you wake up that you start seeing these things. And then you have all these people against you at this point, and it's very difficult to deal with this. Another thing that my ex did that was really scary is that he gets a picture of all the mail at the post office. I was telling a friend about this, and he didn't know that you can do this at the post office. You can have the post office take pictures of all your mail. You just sign up. I can't remember what it's called, but you do it at USPS.com, and you could sign up, and you'll get an email every morning, and it will show you what's in your mail. My ex does this. So he doesn't live at the house, but he knows what mail is coming to the house. So he will track the mail at the house. So one day I got this wedding invitation in the mail, and my ex, I didn't know about this till a couple of weeks after I got the wedding invitation, because he only sometimes does he forward me the link and tell me that, like, he'll forward me the link sometimes and say, I know this is coming in the mail today. And he's doing it to threaten me. So he doesn't usually do that, just sometimes. So I got this wedding invitation. This was weeks ago. I didn't think anything of it. Then recently, a couple weeks ago, he sends me this text and he's like, oh, so, and I'm not going to say the people's names, but he said, so-and-so and so-and-so are getting married in 2 weeks or whatever it is. And I'm thinking to myself, how the heck does he know that? So I didn't say anything. And then he's like, oh yeah, I saw you got the wedding invitation. So I looked it up. I saw their registry. I don't recognize them. How do you know them? It was just this is the type of thing that they do. It's intimidating. He's trying to intimidate me. Now, I don't fall for it the way that I used to, because I'm aware of who he is and the things that he does. And I've taken some precautions, such as I'm armed. I also have changed all the locks on the house. I'm very careful. I have a security system because I don't trust him. But it's a horrible way to live. So if this is you, you need to take precautions. You need to understand that this person is not on your side. Now, I'll tell you one more story that happened with my ex, and this is when he took delight in thinking that something bad had happened to me. So we were at a flea market a couple of years ago, and he was up at a different booth than I was. So I was back behind him with the kids, and somebody near me, wasn't me, but he thought it was me. There was a guy at the booth, and he was talking to somebody else, and he said to them, oh, maybe your grandchild will like this. My ex turned around with the happiest look on his face. He thought that somebody was talking to me and called me a grandmother. Now, if that had happened, I would have been devastated. Oh my gosh, if somebody had said that to me. He knew that. He thought it had happened to me. He rushed over. He was so happy to hear this. Did that person call you a grandmother? Oh my gosh, that is awesome. He said this to me. He was so happy. And when I told him, no, it wasn't me, he was crushed. He was so upset. And this is supposed to be my husband. So, you think about who this person is, the way that this person thinks. So throughout my marriage, and this is happening to you too, if you're with a narcissist, they're gaslighting you. They're lying about you. They're happy when something bad happens to you. They're in direct competition with you. They're setting up ways to maliciously threaten you if they're not living there. Like I said, with the mail, with bringing stuff over to the house. They know what they are doing. They are plotters and planners. They want you to feel bad. You are in their line of fire. It's so crucial, to be careful when you're with somebody who is like this, because you don't know. And one of the most serious consequences of predatory behavior is physical danger. It is so important to understand and keep in mind that narcissism runs on a spectrum. Anybody who has narcissistic traits can cause upheaval in your life. But the more traits they have, the worse it is for you. Dr. Craig Malkin has a standard for unhealthy narcissism. He calls it triple E. That's exploitation, entitlement, and empathy impairment. When a narcissist has those three things, they can quickly become dangerous. When someone is emotionally abusive, physically abusive, and they have a pattern of denial, they're dangerous. There's no safety. There's no hope in a relationship like this. You essentially are prey for a deranged individual. Think about how you feel sometimes if you ever watch a nature show, right? You'll see like some antelope and you'll know that there's like a lion stalking it. And you think to yourself, oh no, get away, no, get away. And you always feel bad. Like, I can't understand how the cameraman can film this. I mean, I understand he has a job and we can't see this if he's not letting it happen. I could never do that. And you hope that the antelope gets away. You hope that the animal gets away. I know the lion has to eat too, but still it's horrible. This is what your life is like. Get away. Don't just sit there and hope that the lion isn't hungry today, or that the lion will miss, or that maybe they're not a narcissist. If you suspect that you're with somebody who is a narcissist, these things are going on. To a greater or lesser extent, they're going on. And as the relationship progresses, it doesn't get better. The only thing you can do is get out of the relationship. And be careful getting out of the relationship. But really, I always hate saying that in my videos because I know that there are people watching that are hoping to save the relationship. I have learned the hard way. So many of you have learned the hard way. Really, narcissists don't change. They can't change. It's a fixed personality disorder. You, however, can get away. You can have a new life. I know this isn't what everybody wants to hear, but you have to be very careful if you're with somebody like this. Narcissists are predators. They will hurt you and they won't feel bad. My own ex, I'm telling you, he hasn't seen his own kids in a year. That is disgusting behavior, and he is just fine with it. Narcissists blame everybody else. He probably blames me. My ex probably blames me. This is what they do. They will blame everybody else, and they will enact revenge on the people that they don't like. And if you're married to somebody like this, you're the person they don't like. I know they're not going to tell you that. They're probably telling you that they love you. But when these things happen, when you see the signs, you always have to take actions. Actions are everything. Words mean nothing. I could tell you anything. A narcissist could tell you anything. It's all actions. So please keep that in mind and protect yourself. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'm grateful for everybody who watches my videos. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. I make videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on all things related to narcissism. I hope everybody has a great day, a great week. If all goes well, I will see you on Wednesday. God bless.